Hello and welcome to part 2 of this visual bus information video. Hang on, I'll just zoom out a bit. That's a bit better. So yeah, this time we're looking at Valley Flyer, a branch of NZ Bus. And here is an animation of one of their 17.223s in a rather special livery. So we'll get on. I can't be stuffed to read that. These are their old Mercedes-Benz 709D buses. They're absolutely tiny, as you can see, and they are imported from the UK. But funnily enough, they actually get a lot of use out of these on routes 150 and 154. Now, Valley Flyer have got a very, very organised fleet, and a lot of the buses have actually been prescribed to certain routes. So, it's like the Scanias always do 110, and then there's certain buses that always do the 130. They're very, very organised. There are 18 of these Mercedes-Benz. Now these here are the old Volvo B6Ls from Alexander Dennis. I know they don't have these anymore. But these look very, very similar to the original version of the old Alexander Dennis. Sorry, I don't know why I said my own name there. Alexander Dennis Claxton Pointer. But they're not. These are actually air conditioned, and these are actually imported from Hong Kong, where they used to be run. Now there aren't any more photos of the Valley Flyer ones on the internet, but there were some of the old Stagecoach ones which were painted into livery to advertise the Metlink. Now the Metlink is the name for the transport system in Wellington, which manages. So basically, although all of the companies are owned by NZ Bus, Metlink are the ones that organise all of the routes and the timetables, and then they also operate the trains and the Cook Strait ferry services. So anyway, these are the photos. Now these ones were the old, when they used to be owned by Stagecoach. Now, one thing I didn't say in part 1 is that the NZ Bus family is all of the companies that formed when Stagecoach split away. So anyway, yep, there's some more here. There's one up there in Stagecoach livery, because they did have some. Another thing is that when Valley Flyer bought these in, they replaced the display signs with LED signs. That's one thing that they did. These were probably some of the earliest air-conditioned buses in the country. And then, yeah, those buses are now gone. These are probably some of the older buses of the fleet. There's 3 of these. Now, these look like Volvo B6Ls to me because they're raised up, but they're not. They're actually rear-engined MAN 11.190s. Now, before I go on, something I forgot to tell you is that when when Stagecoach first started buying their DesignLine buses, they just bought buses. They didn't really give a toss about what they looked like. They just had standard interiors, standard yellow poles, standard seats and everything. But later on, it was towards the end, not long before Stagecoach was abolished. They started making some nicer interiors, and they used the custom Stagecoach seat moquette which they used in the UK, and those poles were actually orange. The only things which I didn't like is they had blue window frames inside, which just looked pig ugly. Anyway, oh yes, I forgot here. So so there's a good look at those. So yeah, these are actually MAN 11.190s, and these are the only 3 in Wellington, because the rest are all operated in Auckland. Now these here are the standard versions of the 11.190, slightly bigger. Some of them have had their rear windows removed when they replaced the lights, and also some of them have had new LED rear lights fitted. Yeah, and some of them still have a rear window. Yeah, anyway, these are much better. And the only thing though which I find is that when they made this version, it was supposed to be an updated version of this to have low floor access. One thing you notice is they made the doors skinnier in width for some stupid reason. Now here we have the 12.223 with single door. As you can see, there's orange poles there. These are the ones that have proper Stagecoach interiors. Now because this PowerPoint is not made in order of bus age, you'll see some more later. Yeah, anyway, there's loads of these. These are often run on the 81 and the 83. Yeah, these are basically just the standard 12.223, but without rear doors. And they also have very nice seats inside as well. And they have 20 of them. Now these here are the other ones. These just have a standard interior. Oh yes, that's another thing I didn't point out. The newer ones that Stagecoach got, which had the nice Stagecoach interiors, also had LED signs as well. And for those of you who don't know, Stagecoach was abolished in 2007. So yeah, these ones have the old signs. Yeah, these ones are basically the same as the others, except these ones just use standard seats and they have rear doors on them. Now, I don't know how many there are because I've just received more from Metlink. Here's the 17.223 from DesignLine, as I was talking about earlier on. There's one there without rear doors. Now there are 6 of these, but 3 of them are 43-seaters, and then they have 3 51-seaters. 3 of them have rear doors, 3 have a rear door, 3 don't. Then these here are the ex-Airport Flyer DesignLine Bubble Scanias, and you can tell that they're ex-Airport Flyer because no rear doors, plus they have the same interior. Yeah. However, they have in fact changed the seat moquettes inside to NZ bus seating. I don't know how many there are. Now these are their new Scania K280 UB6s from Kiwi Bus Builders. Now these aren't the best ones because now they're good buses, but they just use the standard bodywork. And they use a standard windscreen and their double rear doors, air conditioning, standard interior. You'll see what the interior looks like on one of these in a second. That's the interior. Basic, boring white. Basically white and black, yellow poles, and then NZ bus seat patterns. Boring, boring, boring. The inside of these buses just looks so dull compared to Mana's. I think it's really disappointing that NZ Bus, that's a company that is actually supposed to have lots of money, could actually do this. There's 10 of these. Now let's look at their second-hand buses. These are the old Nissan Scorpions. Now these ones used to belong to North Star, as you can tell, because Valley Flyer have a reputation for oh, we'll just slap a new logo on it and just leave the livery how it is. Now these buses are so loud. They're really, really noisy. So I nicknamed these buses the old Nissan noise boxes. Yeah, there's a Metlink one up there. Now the Metlink ones are actually raised floor, and then the ex-North Star ones have got low floor at the front, so they can have a disabled ramp, which is good. Then these are the 12.223 DesignLines, the same as the ones that they already have. Exactly the same. I know the photo's not very good, it was bad lighting that day. Now, funnily enough, they have second-hand ones from Go Wellington. That's right, Go Wellington gave them some. But because Valley Flyer are too lazy to repaint their buses, they're not allowed, because Go Wellington is a Wellington-based company like Valley Flyer. They're not allowed to operate buses in the Wellington livery, in the Go Wellington livery. So instead, they've just covered them from head to toe in advertising. What a cheap option!